aggressive, but we're gonna go for it. Might be on the other side. I see him. Full stride. I'm right in the sun. should have waited. Damn. Dang it. Oh, that was a beautiful tom, guys. I just screwed up. I knew he was too far. He was hanging up. Oh, he was over this ridge. Damn it, I should have known. I knew that was too far. Damn it. He flew off. He flew way off. He was perched up on top of here. Oh, son of a bitch. Oh, damn it. Knocked him over, but oh, he flew away. Damn it. Is there any blood? Alright guys, so I really don't know what happened there, but this was my setup. See the big rock right over here, right there? There's a little hole that I was sitting in. He had not a chance of seeing me. Should have just let him keep coming. Oh, actually, you see that? There's a big uprooted tree behind the rock. That's where I was sitting, is in that hole. Probably about a 30-35 yard shot. Should have let him just keep coming. Might have thought I was over the hill or something. I could have scratched behind me. Shoot. Dang. So I should have done. Looking at it like this, I could have scratched behind me. He would have thought that I was on the other side of the hill. Shoot. Damn it. One just gobbled. One just gobbled. Yes. Shoot. Okay, ready? He's close.
Hey there everybody, it's Dan with Wisconsin Saddle Hunters. Thanks for tuning in this week, and I apologize that I didn't get that turkey. It was a learning experience, that's for sure. This is my first year turkey hunting. Last year I got out once or twice with my bow by myself. That was a disaster. This year, trying to get a little bit more into it, do some calling, set up, and I'm using my 20 gauge. It's a pump action 20. I'm using 3-inch shells, and what I learned is that I need to use a turkey load. That's a key lesson that I learned here, and that's pretty much what I want to focus on at the end of this video. Just got done wrapping up the editing, and I figured this would be a good time to actually sit back and reflect on what all happened, what went wrong, what went right, and why I think things played out the way they did. So, what are some of the things that I think went right? Well, when I got there, as soon as I opened my truck door, I heard a gobble. So I knew I had to get up on top of the hill as fast as I could. And that's what I did. I threw on all my gear. I ran up about 80 vertical feet. The top of the ridge is about 120 vertical feet from where I parked the truck. And I came up the side hill at about a 45-degree angle going up, and I could hear him. And I thought he was 2 valleys over. There's a couple of finger ridges that drop off the main ridge, and they fall into this big bottom. And this ridge is about 1.5 miles long, the main spine of the ridge. And it's got little fingers that come off. I'm sure you've heard it talked about on a lot of channels. But that's where my learning curve is coming in. I'm having a lot of flashbacks when I was learning how to deer hunt with some of the mistakes I made here. Once I got up there and I got situated and I got down in my little spot, I felt pretty good about my cover, but I wasn't for sure. I've heard all about how good turkeys can see, how you can't move when they're in the area. And so I was trying to stay as still as possible. As you guys can see, I zoomed out a little bit, didn't want to mess with the camera. I don't have an arm, so I can't swing the camera very well, as you probably saw. But we made do. And so as that turkey worked his way down the ridge, I was trying to call to him. The only couple times that I called, I tried to have him in between, or I tried to have a tree or some debris in between him and me, trying to conceal myself. That's something I've learned from deer hunting. And then he starts working his way down and he gets to this high spot, and that's where another lesson learned with turkey hunting is coming in. I should have been 15 yards closer to that spot, knowing now, if I would have known then what I know now. And the reason that is, or at least what I think it is that turkey, he came down a little bit of a little depression in the side of the ridge, as you saw. Then he comes up and he comes right up onto this little knoll that he goes up on, and he sits there and he struts. And so what I'm thinking, in hindsight, is he was going up there because that was the highest point relative to where he was right now. And if I would have been closer to that high point, if I could have drawn him down like he did, and if I could have been closer to that high point, man, well, if he went up there, I would have got a shot. So I need to get closer to the high points, I think, or get closer to a big mound. If I see a mound in the future, I'm going to try to get within shooting range of that mound and set up there, because I'm now going to think that tom, especially in this hill country, is going to come up and get up on top of there, and that way he can not only have a visual advantage, but that way the hen can probably see him strutting up top. The second thing, or another thing I should say, is I should have scratched behind me. In hindsight, I don't know if I would have got away with it because the tom was really in the open there, but I think when he drops down low, that very last time that he dropped down low, I think I could have brought my hand back, scratched a couple times, got back up on the gun. But that's hindsight, I guess, and I continued to do that. The turkey that you just heard gobble, you'll hear him gobble a lot more in the next video, I have a feeling. I got a lot of good footage of the turkey gobbling there, and you'll have to stay tuned and see what happens. But man, all in all, I need to be more patient with my shot. I finally taught myself, after last weekend, I taught myself to be more patient with my calling. You notice that I stopped calling once I got set up. I only called once or twice to try and locate the bird, then I stopped. But last weekend, I was calling the entire time. And I think that's what turned off the turkeys last weekend. But now I'm trying to call as minimally as possible, just to know where the bird is and to let him know where I was. I want to call and then I want to move. And that brings me to another point. I need to be more patient with my setups. This next hunt that you'll see, we're calling this turkey in the bottom. He hammers. Sweet. We try and loop around the ridge. And before we dropped our elevation, I'll say, I had the wit to say, let's try and strike him one more time just to see if he's coming up the ridge so we don't lose all this elevation. Sure enough, right where we just came from. So, I hope that helps you guys out. Just telling you my experiences, what I've learned from it now, and man, this is a blast, this whole turkey business. Who would have known it could have been so much fun? I wish I would have got into it earlier in life, but hey, we're making do with what we got, and we're having a blast doing it, hunting the big woods, and can't wait to get back up into Michigan, do some self-isolation out in the woods, and get on some turkeys. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to stay tuned, subscribe, like, and we have a giveaway going on right now on my Wisconsin Saddle Hunters Instagram page. Make sure you jump over there and check it out. Thanks, guys.